Hi, everyone. It's Bonita from rural Kansas, and I'm here today for us to talk about how to save money on utilities. Most of us use utilities. There may be a few off grid people that watch this that don't, but for the most part, a lot of people have to have utilities in their day to day life. And I've done a whole series about how to save money on electricity. You can follow the playlist, I will list that at the end, but I have some new creative ways today to save money on utilities, including water. Now, I live in the country. I don't pay for water. I pay for the electricity to pump the water, but I do have electricity. And we always strive to keep our bill low. I prefer to have it around $75. It did go up to about $95 and around $125 during the holidays when we had a whole bunch of guests staying with us. But for the most part, I try to keep it as low as possible. And 75 is usually my goal, which sounds crazy because they charge us like $33, $34 just to have it hooked to our property. Those base charges have gone up nationwide. So sometimes you can try so hard to keep your bill low, but sometimes those connection fees are a big part of it. And for us, they are a good third of our electric bill. But if I can keep the other portion low, that helps me. I would much rather spend my money on anything else than just getting it and handing it over to the electric company. And for many of you, also paying for water and how much water you use. So I hope this video is helpful. It may make you stop and think on where in your household you can save money. And that is the goal of this channel. So I hope you'll stick around. So no matter your household size, keeping our electric bill low and our water bill low, it depends on all household members to work together. It really does make a huge difference. If you have everybody striving towards the same goal, you're going to see a difference when it comes to your electric bill. It requires you to be thorough, to do follow-up, and to be dedicated to getting that electric bill low for all family members. So many people nowadays have a lot of smart devices, and this is something that I don't think about much because I don't use them. But I recently visited my niece, and we had a talk about how to get her electric bill lower. And it made me think about that because she has all kinds of smart devices. She depends on them. She enjoys the convenience, as many people do. And she has lights on her patio that she can just say, turn on, turn off. She has the Alexa she can talk to. She just has numerous smart devices. And I talked to her about that and told her that maybe that was part of her $300 to $400 electric bill per month. And she said, but they don't use anything when I'm not using them. And I said, are you sure about that? And she said, look, my patio lights are off. And then she said, oh, there's a blue light still shining. Maybe they are still on. So that gave me the idea to actually research this since I don't use them. And most smart devices use power constantly. They use that phantom power or that vampire power that we talk about when we leave items plugged in, even in standby mode. So just like your TV, if it's in standby mode or your computer, it is still drawing electricity. And that is how those smart devices are as well. They may appear to be off, but they are still using electricity to stay connected to Wi-Fi, to listen to voice commands, or communicate with their hubs. And her 13-year-old came in and he said, Mom, you know they're always on because the other day, Alexa even interrupted our conversation to give us ideas about what we were talking about. So she was listening. And I thought, what a great point the 13-year-old had about how they stay connected even when we think they are off or on standby mode. So think about your smart devices. How many of them do you really need? How many do you really depend on? Are they really necessary? Because cumulative smart devices can add to your electric bill. Smart TVs can use a significant amount more than conventional TVs, and smart lights will even use zero point 0.2 to zero point 0.5 watts even when they are off. Smart speakers, even hooked to your TV, can increase your electric bill 100% for that item over a year's time. Now, not all smart devices are bad. If you live in a household where it's hard to get people to shut things off and they just leave things on, like lights or the TV, they can help for better management in getting items turned off that normally were on all day long. So, again, that goes back to your assessment of your household, being thorough, and seeing what your needs really are. Another great example of something that might help are those smart power strips. When you're not using an item, they actually shut everything down until you use it again. So many people have switched to smart power strips. Now, I still have the old-fashioned power strips. I have a lot of things plugged into them, and when I need them, I just turn them on or turn them off, or I just plug them in and unplug them into the wall. Now, many people don't want to bother with that, and I understand, but that has significantly lowered our electric bill. Our electric bill used to be about $175, and by us doing a full house assessment and unplugging things and using power strips, we got our electric bill down to $75. That was less than 50% of what our bill was. And when I did the full house assessment and we were empty nesters, you would be shocked the things that I still found plugged in to hidden electric outlets that I had forgotten even existed. I literally found a Game Boy charger plugged into one of them that had been there for years. And one of my adult kids were like, I wondered what happened to that. So now let's talk about what appliances and devices use the most power in our homes. Now, some of these might surprise you and some of these might not. And I did a video in the past talking about some of this, and I talked about how every 10 inches that your TV screen gets bigger, the more your electric bill is. And I found that so interesting. And it was right off of our electric bill newsletter. But I hang my clothes on the line. If I don't hang them on the line, I use an indoor drying rack. I just don't even have the dryer breaker turned on. It's on a breaker by itself. It's a 220. And that's one of the things I did to lower my electric bill. And it made a huge difference because dryers account for 6% of your electric bill, and they can use 1,800 to 5,000 watts per load. That is huge if you have a big family. So think about that the next time you throw things in the dryer. Do you have another option? Can you hang it on coat hangers and hang it on your shower rod? Can you do things like that that you can avoid using the dryer? And before you shut that dryer breaker off, make sure it's not on a breaker with something else like a freezer, because that would be really bad. Your HVAC, your air conditioning, and your heating for central air. I don't have that either. We have a propane stove. We have window units that are unplugged all winter long. It's only plugged in when we use it in the summertime. But central heat and air can account to 40 to 50% of your electric bill. And many people who have this never open a window or anything. They just leave it running all year round for climate control. So that's something that you can think about as well. Do you need to leave that running all year round for climate control? And a programmable thermostat can make a lot of difference. But for me, I open windows, I open blinds, I shut windows, I shut blinds. I do it the old-fashioned way to control my climate in my house. Your fridge can account for 4 to 7% of your electric bill. Now, I have talked about this before too, but it's so important and people don't think about it. In the summer, you may have to adjust how cold your fridge and freezer are on the settings. And in the winter, you may need to reduce how cold your refrigerator and freezer are. Get a little thermometer and put it in there, and then look to see if you were keeping your refrigerator at about 38 degrees or less. You don't want stuff to freeze, but you don't want it to spoil. Same with your freezer. 0 to -10 is about normal, but sometimes when we put a little thermometer in there, we realize that we actually can adjust those dials, and those dials make a big difference on how often your refrigerator kicks in and shuts off. Your water heater uses 10 to 18% of your electric bill. Many people like to adjust it, keep it about 120 degrees. Now, when I was a nursing home administrator, it could never go above 120 degrees. No matter how long you held your hand underneath it, 120 degrees would never burn you. So you have to think about how hot do you want your water. I have mine hotter than that. I like to have it hotter, like 140 degrees or more, to do my dishes. I do my dishes by hand. I also run my washing machine always on cold water. I don't have a dishwasher, but again, those things use extra electricity. Dishwashers and electric ovens run about 13% of your electric bill. So you want to make sure you have full loads in your washer and in your dishwasher. Run your washing machine on cold water. That will make a huge difference. And for me personally, I shut off my hot water heater breaker and I keep it off about 2 out of 3 days. And on that third day, I run it about 30 to 45 minutes. And for us having 2 people in the house, that is enough hot water to take showers and to do dishes. That's how little I need to have it on. Now, you may have to adjust it based on your family size, but that gave me a huge insight into how much I was paying to have that hot water heater on all the time just to have hot water at the ready. So that is something that I personally do, and it made a big difference in my electric bill. Your lights can equal about 4 to 10% of your electric bill. I switched to all LED lights. That made a big difference. I don't leave my porch light on. In fact, I don't even turn it on at night. A lot of people leave it on 24 hours a day. I don't have any motion lights that I have on. I don't have anything like that outside lights. I live in the country, and if you go outside at night, if there's not a moon or stars, it is so dark you can't see your hand in front of your face. So I don't worry about security or needing to leave that light on. I'm old fashioned. I always think if I leave that light on, that helps people see to get through my yard to maybe break into something. So I prefer to have it pitch dark. Then if I see a light or something going on outside, I know somebody's out there. So I just do it the old fashioned way. I don't run any outdoor lights. So your older light bulbs can actually amount to 10% of your electric bill. And that's why it's so important to switch over to those LEDs. Now let's talk about water. Again, I don't pay for water because I have my own well, but most people who live in town or use city water have a water bill. And letting your water run to like heat it up to take a shower, many people might do that, and that will increase your water bill, as well as letting your water run to brush your teeth. Now, even though I don't pay for water, my dad was always super frugal with water because he grew up and my mom grew up in the Depression era, and they had to haul water in and pump it from the outdoor pump. So because they lived in that time frame, my dad was always like, don't let the water run. The well might run dry. So I grew up hearing that in my head. So even though I live in the country, I still try to conserve water, even though I've had my well checked and they said, lady, you will never run out of water because you have water so deep in that well, we couldn't even reach the bottom. So I don't worry about that so much, but I still hear my dad's warning in my head. So I conserve water as much as I can. So some of the things we can do is to get those shower heads that actually conserve water. Now, I don't have one of those. I have super thick hair. And if I visit someone that has one of those, I can't even get the shampoo out of my hair because it doesn't have enough pressure. So again, assess your family's needs and see if that is an option for you. But when I grew up, we didn't let water run. Like I told you, we got a bowl to wash vegetables in. That was something we did. We didn't just turn on the water and wash all our vegetables. We had a bowl that we washed our vegetables in. So you can take shorter showers. You can fix leaks and drips. And if you have a toilet running all the time, be sure and take care of that right away because that can really raise your electric bill. My middle boy had a bathroom in the basement. They had somebody staying there for a while and then they didn't, and their water bill went crazy and they couldn't figure out what was wrong. They thought they must have a big leak somewhere. It was that toilet in the basement bathroom that was just running constantly. So keep an eye on your toilet. If you hear it running and not shutting off when it's filling with water, take care of that right away. Again, washing full loads with your dishwasher, with your washing machine, that will help your water bill. And many people who have like cement driveways or cement porches or sidewalks, sometimes you can go through the city and see people hosing those down. If you use a broom, which I know is much more work, you will save a lot of money in using your water to try to keep those surfaces clean. Again, if you live in an area that you can wash your car, use a bucket and a sponge or a rag, and then refill the bucket when you need to with your water, but don't just let that hose run. Another way you can conserve water is to water any plants you have outside or any garden you have outside early in the day. Your water will evaporate slower on your plants. It's actually better for your plants than to water them when it's super, super hot. My dad always said, water early or water late. Do not water when the sun is shining. It will fry your plants. But conserving water is another reason to water early or water late when the sun is not bearing down because it will evaporate slower and it will get more water to your plants. I hope that this video has given you some ideas on where you can save in your household. If it has, give me a thumbs up. I hope you will stick around for another frugal video. I always enjoy reading your comments, and I hope to see you in the next video.